What is sexism? How does it affect the educational system? These are questions that will be broken down into various points. The importance of educational equality, why sexism has a negative effect on schooling, where some of the responsibilities lie, progress made to date, and what is yet to come. Let's start with some straight definitions to clear the path. Sex is defined as the existing genetic, physiological, biological characteristics of an individual as a woman or a man, while gender is defined as personality traits, roles, responsibilities, values, expectations, and judgments attributed to women and men by their society and culture. Gender equality is defined as treating women and men equally before the law and equal usage of resources, opportunities, and services within the family and the society by the women and men. So, what is the role gender equality has in education and why is it important? To begin, education is a basic human right, which means that it needs to be equally accessible to all people. Even with this being the supposed case, we can clearly see that this is not so when looking at literacy rates. Out of the world's nearly 760 million illiterate people, nearly two-thirds of them are female, pointing towards an unequal access to education, a sexist inequality. At the same time, women are being subjected to two distinct types of sexism. One, where women are punished for transgressing gender roles and stereotypes, while the other rewarding women who are properly fulfilling the classic feminine gender roles. While these two versions are distinctly different, they both utilize either reward or punishment to showcase what they believe a woman should be and how she should act. Views like these sexist ones are reasons why females feel added societal pressures which affect their schooling negatively. In fact, many school-aged females have reported that academic sexism is stressful and upsets and angers them, even to the point of reducing their satisfaction on academic pursuits. Examples of academic sexism include, but are not limited to, discouragement about abilities in certain areas, believing that all females are overly emotional, or even saying that men cannot make good nurses. Sexism is the educational setting also plays down to the interaction between the students. Stereotypical gender roles can promote bullying among the children to those who may be outliers of typical gender roles. Let's take a step to the side and view educational sexism in the college setting. Have you ever heard of the term stratified majors? As fellow college students, do you notice that certain majors have a majority female or majority male population? For example, look around the room. Are there more females studying education? What about engineering? Is that major thought to be reserved strictly for males? The list goes on, but we cannot deny that areas of study are a very visible example of sexist ideas. Whether we realize them or not, many of these ideas start at such young ages. Boys play sports, girls play with dolls. Boys like blue, girls like pink. These ideas ingrained in children from so early on in life lead to potential prejudices later on. These prejudices are sometimes reasons behind the stratified majors. Students are afraid of facing prejudices and may have lowered confidence in some fields. How else does sexism play a part in how society is shaped? The work setting as well as socioeconomic status. First, low socioeconomic statuses are linked to higher sexist approaches. Also, with regards to the workplace, more negative climate perceptions were related to lower job satisfaction, aka, when there is sexism in the workplace, women tend to enjoy work less. When interviewing Paige, she believes that sexism definitely continues into the workforce, almost more so, I would say, than in school. I think that a lot of time it is hard for women to earn respect as having a leading role. In addition, many men still receive higher pay. In traditional workplaces, with only men on boards, for example, we have yet to see progress. As far as sexism is in education ties into sexism in the workplace, often what children learn becomes lessons that are long ingrained. So with the problem clearly laid out, what should be done to combat sexism in education? As mentioned earlier, the sooner the better. And as far as the educational system is concerned, teachers are the front line. They have the ethical responsibilities to maintain high intellectual and ethical standards for students and to avoid harassment and discrimination. So for those teaching the young ones, the first step is to ensure that you yourself are not promoting gender inequalities in any way. Second, confrontation is key. When teachers confront biases head on, they stand up and model anti bias social norms, hopefully leading to their students' increased willingness to condone anti biased attitudes. Also, confrontation of biases are beneficial to the observers too. Simply witnessing a sexist stereotype being confronted has the potential to reduce self reported sexism. Besides confrontation, people need to make connections, spread awareness, retrain minds, and encourage taking a step back. Even though it appears rough, gender inequalities seem to be slowly decreasing to the point that in the younger grades, the gender gap has narrowed sustainably and even disappeared, with about equal numbers of boys and girls in primary grades 1 through 7. Also, people who confront gender inequalities are generally being perceived with more likability, even to the point of those who confront prejudices are liked more than those who do not confront. Continuing with increased benefits of confrontation, there appears to be a reduction in prejudice after witnessing confrontation. Finally, with the progress made, what are some steps to look at for the future? For example, even though the conditions that support gender inequality have relatively decreased, men still possess greater power than women in the patriarchal society. To further bring women and men into an equal playing field, the realization needs to occur that learning is not limited to the years in school, but rather that it is a dynamic, lifelong process. Also, even though the gap is closing, there needs to be a global target of having all school-age children attending and completing, at minimum, primary education. Finally, teachers need to continuously confront sexism, particularly in the classroom. When confrontations happen, the positive effects are endless. Teachers and female students have a more positive perception, as well as for the onlookers, there is the potential for reduction of self-reported sexism.